Zeus versus Thor, a clash of mighty gods, each vying for supremacy. Who would emerge victorious? Whose thunderous blows would shatter the other's visage? The question of who truly reigns as the god of thunder and lightning sparks curiosity and ignites fervent debate. While not everyone may ponder this, it remains an intriguing topic of discussion. Comparing deities across different pantheons poses challenges. Each culture and pantheon establishes its own unique rules, limitations, strengths, and weaknesses for their divine beings. Drawing a parallel to the present, Norse gods undeniably possess superior might, endowed with supernatural traits surpassing mortal comprehension. However, they are not impervious. Ragnarok has witnessed the fall of gods and Jotnar, leaving only a select few to endure. In Greek mythology, the demise of gods is a rarity. Although heroes, demigods, and lesser deities may perish, the death of a fully fledged god is an uncommon occurrence. Instances of such mortality have been scarce, often attributed to Zeus himself, leaving us uncertain of his own vulnerability. To engage in a fair analysis, we must establish a level playing field. Let us assume, for the sake of this discourse, that Zeus can be slain. But how can we arrive at a conclusive verdict? To make an informed judgment, we shall consider four key factors: strengths, weaknesses, weaponry, and combat prowess. We shall exclude allies and armies at their disposal, as delving into a Greek versus Norse conflict would only sow discord. So, relax and join us as we embark on the quest to determine the worthy holder of the title Lord of Thunder. Let's commence with Thor. Disregarding the portrayal of Chris Hemsworth's Thor in Marvel movies, as it deviates significantly from the true essence of the character, we turn our attention to the recent depiction in God of War Ragnarok. Many were puzzled by this rendition of a short, stocky, red-haired Norseman who exudes an intimidating aura. However, this portrayal aligns more closely with Thor's actual representation. Instead of envisioning a heroic, noble, and handsome Australian man, prepare to encounter a compact, robust, ginger warrior with a profound rage bubbling within. Nevertheless, Thor's formidable nature remains undiminished. In fact, it amplifies his capacity for terror and unpredictability. So, what are Thor's strengths? Physically, Thor possesses immense strength, casually tearing apart both animals and foes with ease. Moreover, he wields a magical belt that further enhances his already prodigious might. This exceptional strength, combined with his courage, renders Thor unafraid to engage in combat, regardless of his adversary's size. Thor and Odin were once deities closely associated with war, endowing Thor with extensive experience across various battle scenarios. As the god of storms, lightning, and thunder, Thor maintains a degree of control over the elements, although the extent remains a topic of debate. It is believed that Thor governs a significant portion of the sky, including elements such as wind, rain, thunder, and lightning. However, Thor's utilization of lightning differs from Zeus's approach. While Zeus hurls bolts of lightning to smite his enemies, Thor's association with lightning stems from his legendary hammer, Mjolnir. Tales depict the hammer unleashing lightning, although it is not the source of the lightning itself. Rather, Thor serves as the conduit or conductor, with Mjolnir acting as an extension of his power. If Thor's ability to summon lightning is restricted to his immediate vicinity, Mjolnir enables him to redirect and aim the bolts. Additional anecdotes highlight Thor's raw power, where his thunderous shout reverberates as thunder, and wherever his hammer lands, lightning follows. Some obscure references even mention Thor's capacity to create storms by blowing on his beard, or his ability to make rivers boil with his mere presence. It is worth noting that Thor's flight is not accomplished through Mjolnir, as portrayed in Marvel adaptations. Instead, he traverses the skies in his chariot, drawn by two magical goats. The practicality and usefulness of this mode of transportation in battle, however, remain questionable. Similarly, Zeus possesses dominion over the elements, conjuring storms at will and employing lightning bolts as javelins to vanquish his adversaries. Zeus's control over the elements is far more absolute, extending to manipulating the movement of stars and altering the passage of time, as evidenced on numerous occasions. Additionally, Zeus boasts the ability to shapeshift, assuming various sizes and appearances with ease. Though his true form is rarely revealed, except in relation to the demise of Dionysus's mother, it remains uncertain if such an event would have the same effect on Thor, considering his godly nature. Notably, Zeus's strength matches that of his son, Heracles, and his power is substantial enough to bestow gifts and abilities upon both deities and mortals. Turning to weaknesses, Thor's short temper stands out as a prominent vulnerability. Zeus, being a cunning deity, could exploit this characteristic to manipulate Thor into disadvantageous situations. Furthermore, Thor can be slain, as evidenced by his battle with the world serpent. However, this factor holds significance only if we assume that Zeus, too, can be killed. The exact means and magnitude required to end Zeus's existence, though, remain shrouded in uncertainty. The sole weakness that stands out for Zeus is his ego. Could Zeus underestimate Thor? It's difficult to say, but it is a possibility. Nonetheless, one would assume that having an indestructible hammer hurled at you with an unprecedented force would quickly dispel any notions of an easy victory. Shifting focus to their weapons, Thor takes center stage in this regard. We have already discussed his belt, which doubles his strength, but the reason for his reliance on it traces back to his hammer, Mjolnir. Mjolnir was crafted by the brothers Bragi and Sindri as part of a wager with Loki. Its only flaw is its short handle, a result of Loki's interference distracting the brothers during its creation. The handle's brevity restricts wielding the hammer to one hand. However, no one, including Thor, possessed the strength to lift the hammer with a single hand. Thor's enhanced strength through the belt, coupled with his iron gauntlets, made him the sole wielder of Mjolnir. The hammer itself was indestructible and would never stray too far from its master, behaving like a weighty boomerang. Its aim was always true, never missing its target. Mjolnir held immense significance in Thor's arsenal and contributed to his overall identity. On the other hand, Zeus does not exhibit a particular affinity for any physical weapon. While there are abstract references and depictions of a spear adorned with an eagle, Zeus's primary weapons of choice are his lightning bolts. Regarding their battle prowess and achievements, Thor and Zeus are once again comparable. Thor frequently encountered the Jotnar, formidable adversaries of varying sizes, often surpassing his own stature. However, Thor fearlessly shattered them to pieces. Zeus, too, confronted colossal foes, participating in wars against the Titans and the Giants. Both gods displayed little intimidation when facing adversaries of immense proportions. Thor's most renowned rivalry was with Jormungandr, the world serpent, a creature so massive it could encircle and coil around the entire world. Over time, the two clashed on several occasions, culminating in a final battle during Ragnarok, where each managed to slay the other. Although Thor succeeded in killing Jormungandr, the wounds he sustained and the serpent's venom proved overwhelming, even for him. One could argue that Zeus's most significant or iconic achievement was dethroning the Titans. However, for me, it is his victory over Typhon, the father of monsters, that stands out. Typhon's creation served the sole purpose of punishing the Olympians for their war against the Titans. His mere presence instilled fear, causing the gods to flee, leaving only Zeus to confront him. In their initial encounter, Typhon emerged victorious but chose to imprison and torture Zeus instead of delivering a fatal blow, a decision he would come to regret. Eventually freed by Hermes and Pan, Zeus, having recuperated, challenged Typhon once more and defeated the monstrous creature, imprisoning him beneath a volcano. Comparing these two formidable adversaries, Jormungandr may have been larger, but Typhon was more feared and destructive. Now, envisioning the battle itself, let's explore some possible scenarios. We acknowledge Thor's immense strength and Zeus's ability to drop a volcano on someone, but it is unlikely that both gods would engage in a wrestling match. Thor's primary weapon is his short hammer, and he prefers to be in close proximity to grab and pummel his foes. In contrast, Zeus predominantly hurls lightning bolts, which he prefers to do from a distance. If the battle were to take place on the ground, in close quarters, Thor would undoubtedly have the advantage. Zeus, on the other hand, can effortlessly hover above, raining down lightning bolts at will. Theoretically, Thor could summon his goats and embark on his chariot, pursuing Zeus through the skies. However, this approach is impractical and restricts Thor's movement and abilities. If the battle were to unfold in the air, Zeus would hold the advantage, as grounding the chariot does not seem too arduous a task. In my opinion, the most likely scenario would be a blend of these two situations, a classic clash between ranged and melee combat. In this scenario, Zeus would soar above Thor, freely hurling lightning bolts. Yet, questions arise: how much punishment can Thor endure? How many lightning bolts would it take before he reaches his limit? Another intriguing aspect to consider is the nature of Zeus's lightning bolts themselves. Is there an endless magical supply? Accounts mention the winged horse Pegasus carrying Zeus's lightning bolts across the skies, and some passages describe Pegasus as one of Zeus's loyal and fearless companions in battle, ferrying his lightning bolts while remaining steadfastly by his side. If this is the case, then there is hope for Thor. Though grounded in this scenario, Mjolnir offers him options. We know that the hammer never misses its mark and unfailingly returns to its wielder. Hence, throwing Mjolnir becomes the only means of physically striking Zeus, yet it is also the safest approach. The extent of the damage Mjolnir can inflict on Zeus and how long it would take to knock him out of the sky are valid queries. Essentially, this sets up a race of sorts. Can Thor knock Zeus out of the sky or even kill him with Mjolnir before succumbing to the barrage of lightning bolts? In my opinion, Thor's best chance lies in initially disregarding Zeus. Using Mjolnir to first knock Pegasus out of the sky could, in theory, limit the number of lightning bolts at Zeus's disposal, compelling him into a grounded confrontation. Another point to note about Mjolnir is that, unlike in the Marvel Universe, worthiness is not a prerequisite to wield the hammer. One simply needs to possess enough strength. Thor's belt enables him to reach this threshold, but we know that Zeus is strong enough to lift entire volcanoes. What prevents him from catching Mjolnir and hurling it back at Thor, along with a barrage of lightning bolts? If such a possibility exists, the situation becomes increasingly challenging for Thor. One final scenario that springs to mind is what would happen if Zeus assumed the form of Jormungandr. Would he be capable of slaying Thor, or would history repeat itself with both gods perishing in battle? Thus, we have explored their backstories, strengths, weaknesses, weapons, and battle achievements. It is now up to you to decide who would emerge victorious. However, I will leave you with these lingering questions to ponder. Does Thor's strength suffice to overpower Zeus? Can Mjolnir inflict the necessary damage, or will it ultimately be turned against Thor?